The Weed Porn Daily podcast is brought to you by the Weed Porn Daily Stoner Shop. Clothing for cannabis connoisseurs. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, iPhone cases, Samsung Galaxy S4 cases, I believe, and tote bags, pillows. I say clothing for cannabis connoisseurs, but it's kind of like clothing and accessories for cannabis connoisseurs. Definitely some stoner swag. So check it out, shop.weedporndaily.com. I think I have a new design up. Yeah, I have a new design up. It's a vintage print. It's like a parody I did of a old U.S. Food Administration like advertisement, and it was for basically just an advertisement trying to tell people how to conserve food and use food correctly. And I thought, wow, this all really applies to weed. So I did that, and it's up. So it's just like a print. I think I have it available as a iPhone case as well, but it's really just something to put up on the wall. Really just like a classy print for like a dispensary or doctor's office or for your room, man. Be nice. Yeah. And I think that was it. There might be another new design that I haven't talked about. Check it out, shop.weedporndaily.com. Check out those sick-ass new tote bags, yo. Society 6 just recently released full belt tote bag prints. So the whole bag is just printed with the design. So we have prints of like nugs. So the whole bag just looks like nugs. Like literally frosty, juicy, orange hair covered nugs. It's beautiful. Or just, like print type one, pattern type ones rather. We have like little pot leaf, pattern prints. And that looks really good when it's on like a full belt style printing. So check that out. If you're looking for a tote bag, something to carry the groceries in, something to carry your goods in, maybe. Shop.weedporndaily.com. If you want to advertise with us, head over to weedporndaily.com/advertise. We've streamlined the advertising process, so you can actually just click and buy the ads right away. You can buy a sidebar ad, I believe, for $50, and you can buy podcasting advertising for 1 whole month for $10. If you want to do like a custom advertising thing where you want to maybe distribute products to like a customer base, or you just want to get exposure for your company or for a certain product or service, anything like that, just hit us up. We'll work with you. There's a contact link on the bottom of the advertise page that'll take you to like a easy little contact form to fill out. weedporndaily.com/advertise. Alright, I got a bowl here packed of some old shit. I mean, it's new shit. It's new shit, but it's old shit, because I've had it before. I'm not sure what the strain is. Never sure what the strain is exactly. Miss Weedporn Daily described it when she smelled it. Like when you don't break open the nug, just to smell the nug, smelled like the potpourri section of craft stores. Yeah. And I kind of agreed. It smelled more to me like, and not more so, but it reminds me of the smell of like wet coffee with like paper or something. Yeah. It's a strange smell. It's definitely like musky. It's definitely on the darker side. Even the nugs are dark. And when you break them up, they get a little fruitier, but it's still pretty fucking skunky, yo. Musky, rather. Not skunky. So cheers. Hope you got your bowls packed, hash nails heated, edibles baked, and hopefully cooled, man. You don't want to burn your mouth. Cheers. welcome to the Weed Porn Daily podcast. I am Grouch, the editor, owner, designer, the asshole behind the ass box. I guess old, man. I guess repetitive. It's so easy to say, though. But I'm the guy, I'm like the one guy who runs Weed Porn Daily. If you think it's like a team of people, it's not. It's just me. It's me chilling, doing everything by my fucking self. Kinda. With some help every now and then. It's nice. Oof. Now I'm thinking the other thing was a lot neater. If you want to check out the website, head over to WeedPornDaily.com. Check out our Tumblr, blog.weedporndaily.com. We have a Twitter, Vine, all that jazz, YouTube, Facebook, all Weed Porn Daily. The only one that's different is Instagram. Couldn't land that one. It's at Ganja Grouch. So yeah, I want to bring you guys more podcasts. I want to be a little more frequent about it. I mean, it's a news-based podcast. I can't deny it. And there's always an influx of news. So I just want to do more podcasts. Yeah. Alright, so let's get to the news, Man, it's hard. I did a podcast a couple days ago, and it was a little odd. It didn't pan out that well. So I discussed some news articles, and I hate when that happens, because I'll discuss them and go over in them, and I'll think I've done it, but really you guys haven't heard shit. Yeah, okay. I think I got it. If you want to follow along, head over to blog.weedporndaily.com and hit the news button up top, or just go to the podcast post itself, and we post like a list of all the news articles that we talk about. So the first one that I want to talk about today, there's so much to talk about. I'm going to try and go over them as quickly as possible. I don't know if I talked about it last time. I think I did. The TSA might allow passengers to board planes with marijuana. This comes to us from RT USA. I'm not going to read the article, but basically, the TSA is kind of making it a gray area where they're saying, hey, it's federally illegal, so crossing state lines with it is illegal. It is a felony. But it's our jurisdiction. We are a federal agency. So we'll decide whether or not you're going to get arrested. So even if you do get the drug-sniffing dogs come over and sniff you out and, oh, you got marijuana? Let's look at it. They look at it, they might just put it back and, not say anything. Or they might call the cops and you might get arrested. It's like a gray area. Obviously, this is for people in medical states and preferably flying between medical states or legal states. I get the question a lot, can we fly with weed? Like, what are the rules on it? What are the official guidelines? And the TSA has actually come out and kind of made as clear of a statement as they can make while it's federally illegal. Like they're obviously not going to come out and say, hey, it's allowed. They can't do that legally. So they'll say, hey, man, shit happens. So it's nice. It's a nice move. I've seen it all the time. I've posted videos of it on the website. People just literally vaporizing either in the line of like the security shit of getting checked out, or literally vaporizing on the plane. They're obviously in medical states, flying between medical states, and they're using hash oil vaporizers, which smell significantly less and are less smokier than flower vaporizers, which make it more ideal for those kind of illicit situations. So yeah, good news, everyone. More good news, not really. Bad news. U.S. Supreme Court rejects marijuana reclassification appeal. I won't read this one. This comes to us from Cannabis Culture. But basically, again, the U.S. Supreme Court has come out and said, we're not going to reclassify marijuana. You may have submitted scientific evidence, you may have made a case, but we still don't think it's a good enough case to even make marijuana Schedule 2, scientifically studyable. It's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty biased. It shows that it's futile to try to legalize it on a federal scale. I was actually listening to a psychedelic salon where one of the members of the MPP was on it. And for a short portion of it, he was discussing legalization efforts and how to go about it. And he mentioned that, federal legalization efforts are basically dead. That they've been trying to do it for the last 40 plus years, and it's just been stymied. So that the only way to go about it now is to actually legalize on the state level and kind of do it as a protest to the federal government. Because that's the only way any legislation is getting passed. The federal government has obviously just created a total stonewall on the situation. So the only canals that we can maneuver through now are the states. And that's what they did with, alcohol prohibition. We're just following that model. But it's not futile to try. There's always more scientific evidence coming out in support of cannabis. So refiling these kind of appeals is always good. This was the ASA that did that. If you guys want to donate. Researchers find chemicals in marijuana that could help treat MS. You guys could search for that if you're interested in multiple sclerosis. There's also one I posted recently for Parkinson's disease. So Michael J. Fox, man, start smoking some hemp oil, man, or at least or use it, ingest it somehow. And cannabidiol could reduce brain damage incurred via heavy alcohol abuse. All just science supporting cannabis here. You can find all of that in our science or health tags. Trying to move along fast here. I'm sorry, guys. I usually read out the whole article. This one I'll read out. It was an article that I've reported on before, and I wanted to report on it again because it was just so fucked up. So fucked. It is a prime example of the failure of the drug war. Autistic teen tricked into buying weed for undercover cop. This comes to us from Normal. In late 2012, a Riverside County, California police officer infiltrated a local high school, befriended a vulnerable special needs student, and then proceeded to send more than 60 text messages begging the student to buy him weed. The student, who had been diagnosed with autism as well as bipolar disorder, Tourette's, and several anxiety disorders, noticeably handicapped, became overwhelmed by the pressure and the desire to keep his only friend. He finally agreed to buy pot for Dan, the undercover cop. It took the teenager weeks to find anything, eventually buying half of a joint from a homeless man downtown. Then, as reported by Reason magazine, on December 11, 2012, armed police officers walked into the student's classroom and arrested him in front of his peers. He was taken to the Juvenile Detention Center along with 21 other arrestees, where he was kept for 48 hours. First-hand reports claim that the juvenile center was caught off guard by the large number of arrests, and some of the youths had to sleep on the floor using toilet paper as pillows. The child was also expelled from school. There's plenty more to read. It's a pretty fucked up situation. Definitely something worth looking into, and definitely something worth citing, man. It's just, it's not necessarily purely a case of the war on drugs, but it's like that and police state and So the schooling system, like, there's just so many areas at fault here. And, this is a great case that just highlights, all of them. Yeah, let's move on. Mexican celebrities are pushing for the decriminalization of marijuana. This comes to us from the 420 Times. In Mexico, there's a group comprised of 67 well-known Mexican artists, prominent politicians, intellectuals, and attorneys that are calling for the full decriminalization of marijuana in their republic. Actors Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna, writers Angeles Mastreta, Juan Villoro, and Javier Sicilia, attorneys Fernando Gomez Mont and Agustin Acosta, and former Health Secretary Julio Frank were among others that signed a petition to decriminalize the plant in Mexico. Those that signed the petition argue that 60% of inmates in Mexico's federal penitentiaries have been sentenced for drug offenses, and that of those prisoners, 60% are currently incarcerated for marijuana-related offenses. That's crazy. My math's kinda, I haven't gone to math class in a long time, but 60% of 60%, that's a lot. That's still a lot. Like, that's just all that of just weed offenses in a federal penitentiary. Like, I wonder how Mexico works, if there are any, like, state level, or if they just all go to the federal, penthouse. I was trying to think of the funny word for it, the penny. Yeah, but good news, man. Good news for Mexico. I'm happy to hear, that they're moving for that. You know, I'm seeing a lot of South American countries and Central American countries just come out, and a lot of the leaders and a lot of I was gonna say, politicians, but just, political representatives, people running for politics, I don't know what to call that, but just all those people, advocating for the legalization of marijuana and, all drugs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming decades if we see just a full sweeping drug reform. It'd be a beautiful thing. End to all the fucking violence, yo. Let me touch on this one. Justin Trudeau says Stephen Harper's wrong on medical marijuana, offers alternatives. I'm not going to read this one. I'm just going to make one comment here. Justin Trudeau was against marijuana, like last week. like a couple months ago, if you asked Justin Trudeau how he felt about marijuana, he was not happy about it. And, I'm pretty sure I'm right about this. Mark Emery talked about smoking out with this guy, and he profusely denied it. He went out and he was like, I don't know what Mark is talking about. I had never smoked with him. I've smoked like 2 times with my friends. You know, like he was very clear on that. And, all of a sudden this guy's coming out, changing his feather colors, and, letting people know, hey, I support it. Hey, fuck Harper, you know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. And, you know, this MMPR, you know, it's a problem, and I've got the solution, and I support medical marijuana now. And, look at my tattoos. I'm gonna wrestle another politician, because I'm the sexiest Canadian I'm sorry. I'm going off here. But, I don't know, it's an interesting situation, the Canadian political specter. I've been trying, to grasp it. I'm not a fan of politics anywhere. So just being an observer of it and seeing, you know, this so-called liberal, just now come out supporting, medical marijuana, you know, I don't know. And it was fucking crazy just seeing all the Canadians just come out and just start like sucking mad dick. Like literally on Pot TV. They had one guy on the couch, and he just like, I literally had to stop watching because he sucked Justin Trudeau's dick so hard. My ear got like cum in it, and I had to go clean it out. It was like ridiculous. But that's enough of that. good news. More good news. Morocco hashish exports through the roof. This comes to us from High Times. Algeria seized more than 127 metric tons of hashish coming in from Morocco in the first 8 months of 2013, authorities announced on October 2nd. Some 12,500 suspected traffickers were arrested and large quantities of various psychotropic pills were also confiscated in raids. Algeria officially closed its border with the conservative kingdom to the west in 1994, citing political tensions and the flow of contraband, but the trade obviously flourishes, with subsidized Algerian fuel smuggled into Morocco in dope for oil deal. In 2012, more than 157 tons of cannabis were seized in Algeria, compared with 53 in 2011. That's 3 times plus as much. Oh, like almost 3 times as much. Excuse me. The explosion has prompted Algiers to beef up security on its western frontier, reports the WPD Star. So yeah, man, it's always fascinating to hear about the UK cannabis trade. You know, I don't really hear about it that much, and I know that Middle Eastern and Eastern, or is it? Yeah, Eastern hash is common in the UK. You know, like they get that stamped hash all the time, imported, smuggled in, and it's nice to hear that the supply is going up, and I hope the prices are going down for you guys. This post blew the fuck up. Sorry I'm moving along so fast. This post blew the fuck up. I was surprised by how many notes it got. You know, usually news posts, they get like 10 to 30 if it's like a local thing, and like 50 to 100 if it's something like poignant. But this got like 361 I'm looking at right now. 25 days until Portland considers making marijuana legal for adults. This comes to us from the MPP. On November 5th, voters will decide whether to approve a local ballot initiative that would make the possession of up to 2.5 ounces of marijuana legal for adults 21 and older. Basically, question number 1, you're going to vote yes on it, I'm pretty sure. We reported on the bus ads that the MPP was running about this. This is a huge news. It's basically going to be the first East Coast city in the U.S. that's going to have legal cannabis for everybody. You know, everybody over 21. And it's really interesting to see how it's happening on a city level rather than a state level. But anybody in Portland, Maine, man, make sure to vote yes on question 1. Alright, this was pretty bad news. The LA City Attorney moves to shut down illegal marijuana dispensaries. This comes to us from the LA Times. A fresh effort to close down illegal marijuana dispensaries in Los Angeles is underway, this time led by new city attorney Mike Fuhrer. The city's legal team has moved to shut down 38 pot shops operating outside the mandates of voter-approved Measure D, Fuhrer told reporters at a Friday press gathering. The ordinance, approved in May by 63% of voters, calls for a sharply reduced number of pot shops and taxes those found to be operating illegally. Fuhrer said that an additional 42 dispensaries have closed on their own since Measure D took effect in July. That's a small portion of the roughly 850 dispensaries believed to be operating illegally. Measure D only allows the 134 that opened before a moratorium was attempted in 2007, but the city attorney pledged that his office will be filling new prosecutions every week. In office since July 1st, Fuhrer said the actions mark a new day for medical marijuana regulations in Los Angeles. So this is pretty devastating news. I've been seeing a lot of fucking people in LA just flipping their shit about this. This was big news back in the day when I was reporting on Measure D and Measure F and all that shit, getting going on and being voted on. And, it was fascinating to see. I try not to take a side because I try to keep WeedPornDaily fairly non-biased, and I try to give you both sides of the argument. But this was one of those cases where I was like, I'm pretty sure that I'm right, and Measure D was fucked up. It was clear that Measure D was a very bad idea. And as much as Measure F was not that good of an idea, it would have probably been better off than this. And then this fucking new city attorney moved in, Mike Fuhrer, and I've seen a lot of people and a lot of stoners in LA voted for this guy, thinking that he was going to do the opposite of what he's doing right now. So this is just like fucking a nightmare situation for stoners in LA. And, I just wish you guys all the luck. I know a lot of LA dispensaries that have shut down, and I know a lot that are just like cowering right now in the shadows. So it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. I wish you guys all the luck. Let us see. I'll talk about this one, because this one I like raised a stink about. I went on Reddit and I posted it, and I saw people, and I'll get into it. Marijuana grower shoots thief, faces prison. This comes to us from High Times. An Oregon medical marijuana farmer was arrested earlier this week and charged with second-degree assault and unlawful use of a weapon after authorities say he shot a thief attempting to harvest some free weed growing in his backyard. According to reports, police were dispatched to the home of 30-year-old marijuana grower Josiah Timothy Shirley on September 24th in response to an emergency call. When they arrived, they found Shirley standing over the suspected thief with a .40 caliber handgun ready to rock and roll if the thief so much as made a move. I gotta love High Times. And they're fucking editorializing. Unfortunately, Oregon law prohibits the use of deadly force against burglars unless they are inside a person's home. It is for that reason the grand jury ultimately decided that Shirley had to face criminal charges. He was arrested on Thursday. This is commonly referred to as castle laws. This is something I recently learned. It's one of those nifty little like things that do not come in handy ever. But basically it's the concept of like, your home is your castle. So if anybody invades that is a problem. Then you can like shoot to kill. You can like, that is like sanctum to sancti. And, whatever. And then you have the case of like stand your ground, like say in Florida or basically anywhere on the Bible Belt, I'm pretty sure. And, your property extends to basically the outside of your house and a bubble like around your body. Like you could basically be anywhere, and if somebody like threatens your life, you can kill them. It's an interesting case here. I discussed it on Reddit a little bit, because people were really if you go to the actual report, not the High Times one, you see people commenting. Even on the High Times one, you see people commenting and supporting the guy. They were saying, why did this guy get arrested? He was obviously defending his property. This is just a matter of like some little law getting in the way of like justice. And people on Reddit were flabbergasted with apparently the barbarity of this statement. And the primary concern, the guy who drew the primary concern was actually apparently from like Switzerland or Sweden or some shit like that, so it didn't really surprise me. It drew an interesting argument on like gun control and like the recent uprising of gun control arguments and all that in the collective consciousness and media and everything. And this guy, alright, I'll bring up my case. They basically said, that's barbaric. On Reddit, they said, that you should never shoot someone as a warning shot. You could accidentally, hit a artery and kill them accidentally. Like no one's fucking sharpshooter. It's true. It's very true. You could shoot someone in the leg and think that that's safe, and then you could shoot a fucking major artery, or shoot their kneecap accidentally and ruin their life, or, shoot them in the dick, and that would be fucking terrible. Like so many bad things. Or just you could be too close and like it blasts like a hole in the person because of the fucking like physics of it. Like there are just so many like bad factors of, a gun. It really is like a very lethal weapon. It's very powerful. It does take a lot of, respect and control. But my argument was basically, what if this guy was like 80 years old? What if this guy was 80 years old, he's sitting out there, and he's trying to grow his medicine, he's trying to grow his livelihood maybe, and, these thieves, it was reported in the article that, the thief had come multiple times. This was not the first time that the thief had come. And, if you're an old man and you're sitting there and you're getting robbed multiple times, and you're exasperated, you call the police, they come, they're like, I don't know what to do, like there's fucking no evidence, he left the crime scene, they ran, I can't do anything, and, people recommend, putting up cameras, putting up lights, things like that, and, all that costs money, all that, like as much as it has been reduced, substantially over time, you can buy, surveillance equipment very affordably now, like on Amazon and shit. It's still money. It's still money you're pumping out, like you've already invested like hundreds and hundreds of dollars into soil, into nutrients, into seeds, into just like time, all this money dumped into your crop already, and then you've got to like start adding security on top of that. Maybe you can't afford that, not everybody is in this prime position for that, So you're sitting there, you're in your backyard, you can't afford defenses. What do? You get your gun, and you sit out in a chair, and you wait for the thief to come. And when he starts harvesting your plants, you fucking shoot him. And you don't shoot to kill. It's not something like vengeance. It's not a matter of, you gotta like eliminate this guy. This guy has been robbing you, and the police haven't been able to catch him. So you're gonna deal with it yourself. And you shoot the guy, you put him into submission essentially, and he called the cops. This was a very, very civil situation here. I mean, as much as the guy had to be shot, the thief. Some may argue, why did he have to use a gun? Why, go out there with a bat. Go out there with a knife. Go out there with, I don't know if a knife would necessarily be illegal, but like a bat, or like just your fist, brother. Go out there with your fist. You're a man. You should be able to defend yourself, right? It's such a silly case, like someone gets knocked in the head and they could get concussed and like fall on concrete and end their life, or lose their memory or function. Fighting is so barbaric. As much as guns are barbaric, fighting, getting into an actual physical conflict is like a huge more risk to your life than having a gun. You're putting yourself out of range, you have a weapon, you're not, I don't know. So I put that case up, I said like, what if this guy was an old man? What is he supposed to do? Was he supposed to go out there and fight? This thief? Is he supposed to call the cops every single time and the thief just got away, and the thief makes off with a little bit of weed every time. Like, what is this? And is he supposed to, be some fucking, guy with money, bank, and, throwing up security? And then I apply this all to an old man, of course. And why do we throw this discrepancy between old men and young men? This was a 30-year-old man, who shot the guy. But even if he's a 30-year-old man, who's to say that he's physically fit? Who's to say that he should be physically fit? Who's to say that maybe he's handicapped? He's using, he's growing marijuana. Maybe it's for medical purposes personally. Just so many factors, and it's not only a matter of gun control in society. It's a way we view men, and it's a way we view violence and criminality. I'm not saying that we should cut the thief's fucking hand off. It's not about being barbaric about it, but it's about, I heard a gun control guy say it, and I don't like to agree with gun control people because they say some pretty crazy shit sometimes. But he said something very poignant and very just poignant. He said, "I don't expect my government to protect me. I don't expect that. I protect myself. And the government's there, obviously, to help me. And the government's there to reduce crime and do its job, whatever. But I don't expect some guardian angel from the government, And that's why we have these laws built into the Constitution to allow for, gun possession. It's about being able to defend yourself. It's not about, having a big enough police state to be able to control every single fucking crime. I don't think that's possible. I don't know. It's an interesting case. It was definitely an interesting case. Obviously, he broke the law. Castle rules in Oregon. Yeah, definitely an interesting case. I would love to hear you guys' opinions. It's one of those hot topics. Hot topics. Moving on, I ranted a bit on that. Yeah, I'm dragging on the time here. Let's see. Oh, this was good news in the light of LA getting shut down and San Diego getting fucking shut down. California. Charges dropped against landlords renting to dispensary operators. This comes to us from the 420 Times. The United States Attorney's Office has formally dropped cases against several California landlords that were renting their property to marijuana dispensary operators. Tony Jalali, an Anaheim-based landlord, was on the verge of losing his property worth $1.5 million as a result of a Drug Enforcement Administration investigation in which an undercover officer purchased $37 worth of marijuana at a dispensary operating in the building. The officer in question had forged a doctor's recommendation for medical marijuana and was posing as a legitimate patient. You can read more, but it's just good news. It's just good news to hear that, even though that illegal operations were happening under the building, that, they weren't corroborated with the landowners. That's just kind of silly, you can't expect that landowner to regulate the dispensary. That's the job of the actual, the state itself. The landlord is there to just do his fucking job, maybe follow the guidelines of landlords, but not necessarily to look into the legitimacy of a dispensary and to keep up with that. That's the job of the state. So I don't know what they were expecting there. But it's good news that they dropped the cases. I know what they were expecting there. That was just like a threat, basically, to grab people by the balls and say, we're the federal government and we have the power. Do you understand that? Do you understand that we're going to take away $1.5 million of your property just like that because we can? Do you understand that? Does that make you scared? Good. And then they let go of the balls and you walk away and you're like, whoa, man, I should really be scared of the federal government. Yeah, they fucking did that with, what's that fucking guy's name? The black celebrity that didn't pay his fucking taxes and ended up in federal prison and just recently got out. I think it's Wesley Snipes, if I'm not mistaken. They made an example out of that motherfucker. This was a fucking, this brought up a fucking shitstorm of, controversy. Denver proposal. Smell of marijuana would cost a year in jail, and $999. This comes to us from the Seattle PI, their pot blog section, I believe. Angered by the brash public smoking of marijuana in its city, Denver City Council has considered a wide-sweeping law that would ban marijuana possession from certain parts of the city and level a stiff fine plus a year in jail for just the smell alone. The draft law, set to be introduced today, states it's illegal to openly or publicly display marijuana. The term openly means occurring or existing in a manner that is unconcealed, undisguised, or obvious, and is observable or perceptible through sight or smell to the public or to the persons on neighboring properties. And publicly, occurring or existing in a place, location, or in such a manner that members of the public or persons on a neighboring properties may observe or perceive it by sight or smell, including but not limited to vehicles on public streets or highways. Your activity should not pervade others' peace and ability to enjoy, Denver Mayor Michael Hancock told the Denver Post. Marijuana is one of those elements that can be quite pervasive and invasive. I shouldn't have to smell your activities from your backyard. Alright, motherfucker. If I have to smell the fucking BBQ from my neighbor and get the munchies, if I have to smell the fucking rose garden that they're growing, if my fucking girlfriend who has a mango allergy has to deal with mango trees that blossom and leave pollen that can possibly leave her hospitalized or dead, and she can't do anything about that, she has to deal with that, and you want to make a law because cannabis smells a little bad to you, you're fucking retarded. Like, this is clear prohibition stigma coming out and finding its way through the legalization measures. You know, they legalized it in Colorado, and they're just trying to find a way to stifle it some more. There was an update to this article. The city council saw that there was quite a backlash, so they acknowledged it, but I'm pretty sure they passed it. Let me scroll up a little bit here, because I'm pretty sure I posted a follow-up or not. Yes, no. I don't know. But keep an eye on that, because Denver, man, that'd be fucked up if you can't even smoke weed in your house. You'd be smoking weed in your backyard, and if your neighbor doesn't like the smell going into their backyard, they could report you. And you could get a fucking year in jail, or a $1,000 fine, or both. And that's the maximum penalty. I want to clarify on that. There is a minimum that's a lot smaller, but still. A year in jail because you're smoking and someone doesn't like the smell of that. Like, when was the last time that you were in an apartment and someone was cooking some fucking culture food that smelled like really thick and like made the air more humid, and you just had to deal with it because you respected them and their culture and their choice. Good news. This is some good news. Study: marijuana involved in fewer fatal wrecks than other drugs. This comes to us again from the Seattle PI, the pop blog. A new study looking into fatal vehicle crashes and drugs has found true what many marijuana aficionados claim about driving and pot. It's less dangerous than driving under the influence of other drugs, especially alcohol. I would say, even though there are risks associated with the use of marijuana, it seems to be not as big as other drugs like depressants, stimulants, and other narcotics, said Guoha Li, lead author of the study. But, the rate of risk attributed to marijuana is lower than the risk attributed to other drugs. But the presence of marijuana is higher, so the overall impact of marijuana on motor vehicle safety is still a serious problem and may be as big as other drugs, Lee said. That's also some bullshit. They say but, But, I say, marijuana stays in your system longer than depressants, than stimulants, than narcotics. It stays in your system longer than like any other drug. So for them to say that the presence of it is higher, it doesn't surprise me at all. You know, they're gonna find it in everybody because it's fucking really hard to detox out of your system quickly. Especially if you're a consistent user, that shit's never gonna leave your system. The national study looked at 737 drivers involved in fatal accidents in 2007 and used the 2007 National Roadside Survey of Alcohol and Drug Use by Drivers as background to determine risk of fatal accident if you use particular class of drugs. But yeah, just good news. Just stuff supporting that you can get stoned and drive if you know what you're doing. It's a psychedelic. You know, it's not like alcohol where it's actually been studied and known to inhibit motor skills and portions of the brain that, you know, control decision making. You know, it's not just a matter of, you know, you maybe swerving. It's you know, thinking like, yeah, I can drive faster. Yeah, I'm a superhero. You know, it just gives you that effect. And when you're on marijuana, you get that paranoia. You get that limitation. If anything, you drive slower. You worry, am I driving in the lines? I don't know. You know, maybe I should slow down. Whoa, am I driving too fast? I feel like I'm driving really fast. You know, I hear that a lot from people though. They say they drive high and they'll be going 30 and they feel like they're going 40 or 50. You know, and you know, maybe some people say that's not safe, but that's just them, you know, over exaggerating the situation, which allows them to increase their perception of the situation, which I think is more beneficial. Utah. High CBD cannabis oil legal as hemp. This comes to us from High Times. A lawmaker in Utah is under pressure to help another little girl like Charlotte who suffers from the same rare form of epilepsy. Rather than force her parents, like Charlotte's, to emigrate to Colorado, Representative Gage Farrar, a Republican from Huntsville, has a novel idea. Just redefine Charlotte's Web oil as a hemp product, not a marijuana product. It's not a drug. It's not medical marijuana, said Representative Farrar, declaring that high CBD oil isn't cannabis. It should now be called elepsia, from root words meaning of a seizure. Since elepsia has the same trace amounts of THC you'd find in hemp soap or hemp seed oil, Representative Farrar believes, they could go over to Colorado right now and bring it in, since nothing in federal or Utah law forbids hemp products. Annette Morgan from the Epilepsy Association of Utah is backing the idea, saying Utah has an opportunity to be innovative. Representative Farrar added, this herb has no social disadvantage. This herb has no social disadvantages, since it is not and cannot be used to get high. I see nothing but positive social and medical benefits if this will work. So fucking kudos to Utah, man. And kudos to this representative for being so fucking crafty with the law like that, because that, you know, is essentially what hemp law is. You know, it's just kind of like they say, oh, you can grow cannabis as long as it's X amount of THC or lower. You know, and that's what CBD oil is. It's X amount of, and they compared it to hemp products as well, which is, I guess, a better example. So good news. Hopefully, this works out. Cause that Dravet syndrome is really intense. That epilepsy that children get. If you've ever seen any footage, if you watched the Sanjay Gupta documentary, if you watched, I believe Weed Wars, was the first place that featured, a little kid that had it. It's just, the footage is just so heartbreaking. Just to see, like, the child just constantly break down, and just when he's not breaking down, it's just, he's like lost. Or him or her, they're just in such a flux. Their brain is just constantly shutting down, restarting, that they don't even know what's going on. It's so sad to see. So to know that the CBD oil, you know, reduces their seizures from like fucking 50 a day or whatever crazy amount it is to like none. It's fucking amazing. It's criminal that it's not legal yet after just seeing that. Let's see. Man, let me talk about this one, because I didn't have a platform to talk about this one, because I tried to keep it non-biased again. But, I even slipped in a little bias here in the title. The Dalai Lama supports medical marijuana use, thinks recreational users are crazy. This comes to us from the Atlantic Wire. The Dalai Lama isn't that keen on recreational marijuana use, but the spiritual leader told supporters in Mexico on Tuesday that he supports legal medicinal marijuana when the drug has been shown to have value. The comments, in the middle of a debate on the drug in the country as Mexico City considers legalization to legalize pot, came at an event hosted by former President Vicente Fox. Fox supports the legalization of pot for several reasons, because it could cut off a valuable stream of revenue for the country's drug cartels, blah, blah, blah. Nothing about the Dalai Lama. Here are the comments via the AFP, which came in response to a question from the audience. The Tibetan spiritual leader, speaking at an event hosted by former Mexican leader, said that the exception for smoking marijuana would be if it has pharmaceutical virtues. But otherwise, it's just an issue of somebody using the drug to have a crazy mind. And that's not good. For shame. For fucking shame, sir. Like, how dare you? Like, how ignorant of this motherfucker. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe he doesn't have clear access to the internet. Oh wait, motherfucker has time to tweet, but he doesn't have time to verify the information on medical marijuana. Go fuck yourself, bro. Like, that's ridiculous. He is in such a high place, and he is supposed to be such a wise person. So for him not to understand that cannabis has been used for thousands of years by his own fucking culture, and that most of the fucking religious literature was written on cannabis, or hash, or fucking other psychedelics. It was all written on like altered substances. So for him to refer to all that as like a crazy mind is fucking, it just shows how like unenlightened this guy clearly is. If he doesn't understand that getting high can take you to a much different realm, if it's not, it's just another tool in the toolbox for you. If he doesn't realize that consciousness itself is just a chemical cocktail, then he's fucking retarded. I've lost all my respect for the Dalai Lama. I mean, I didn't really have a lot of respect for the Dalai Lama. I think figures like him are fucking bullshit. Him, the fucking Pope, the fucking Gandhi, like it's all fucking, what is it, Mother Teresa? They're all like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. But, there you go. The Dalai Lama, iffy on medical marijuana use, you gotta prove it to him first. And recreational marijuana, you're fucking crazy, bro. Fucking crazy. This was another fucking flabbergasting article. I'm sorry for dragging out the news, but there's so much juicy shit. The GOP says food stamps used for medical marijuana. This comes to us from the High Times. Some Republican lawmakers want to make billions of dollars in reductions to the food stamp program, commonly referred to as the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, because they say money intended for the recipients to buy food is actually going towards the purchase of medical marijuana. Earlier last week, Representative Virginia Fox said that she sides with the proposal to cut food stamps benefits by $40 billion because she fears that many individuals currently enrolled in the federally funded nutritional plan are scamming the hand that feeds them, and in turn, utilizing Uncle Sam's greenbacks to reap some green benefits of their own. The Nutrition Reform and Work Opportunity Act is designed to preserve the integrity of a SNAP program for SNAP? Okay, SNAP is food stamps. Okay, let me read that again. The Nutritional Reform and Work Opportunity Act is designed to preserve the integrity of the food stamps program for families, and especially for children who rely on food stamps, she said. Reforms in this legislation put stronger protections in place to ensure that food stamps money is reserved for those who qualify for food stamps and isn't wasted on the government public relations campaigns, medical marijuana purchases, or lottery winners. Questionable loopholes and recruitment activities which extend assistance to those who make too much money are also ended. So it's interesting, it's fucking always sad to see the politicians go after the little man, the poor man, the man who they're supposed to be representing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but there's a fascinating case that happened recently where I believe it was Republicans actually had to protest a food stamps change, and to protest it, they went on food stamps for like a week or two, and they, recorded their progress, and they basically showed just how difficult it was to just meet ends meet. Meet ends meet. Eating food stamps. They had to change their whole diet, their whole perspective on how to buy food and eat. They were just buying like rice. Like that was it. Like they just buy like a huge thing of rice and maybe a sack of beans, and that was it. Like that's your carbs and your protein, and that's all you get. And it just showed how little they get already. And then these people want to come and say, you're getting too much. You're getting too much, and you're abusing it, and we're going to take it away from you. They had another case recently as well, in a couple of states where they started drug testing people who were in the food stamps program to make sure that, people weren't, obviously using the food stamps for drugs or, abusing it or whatever. They just didn't want druggies on the program. And when they did it, they found that there were, no people testing positive. Like the results were very nominal. 1 or 2%, like very, very low. So it basically got thrown back in their face. They lost a lot of money, providing all of those drug tests to all of those food stamps people. That's money. That was like $50 every time each person. Boom, 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 boom. And then to have them all come back negative, that was basically just all money the state had to eat. So it's just ridiculous. We just keep putting the poor people down. And I guarantee you it's creating more and more criminals, man. We wonder why we have criminals, and then we keep suppressing people. It's a sad situation. I think that's it. I mentioned the Parkinson's thing. Last bit of news. California is poised to legalize marijuana in 2016. This comes to us from the Huffington Post. Nearly 2/3, 65% of Californians support legalizing, regulating, and taxing recreational marijuana in the state, according to a Tolchin research poll. The figure, based on responses of 1,200 likely 2016 voters surveyed during the last 2 weeks, shows a solid majority back proposals to legalize adult recreational marijuana, the San Francisco-based pollster said. The poll found 32% opposed legalization, and 3% were undecided. Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, Democrat, and American Civil Liberties Union representatives released the poll results during a news conference Thursday and announced the launch of a 2-year effort focused on proposals to legalize recreational marijuana. Newsom will chair a panel of 16 experts, including professors, medical professionals, and policy researchers who will study legal and policy issues involved in adult recreational marijuana. So there you go. If you guys are wondering, in California, when you guys are going to get some legal weed finally, maybe 2016, you'll finally see it on the ballot. I'm guessing I'm kind of legally retarded and it's very late right now, but I'm guessing 2016 is the election year. Let me Google that real quick. I don't want to seem like a fool. I'm like 90% sure. Yep. So they were basically with legalization efforts in states, you wait for the presidential elections, especially for legalization, because it's such a huge effort. It takes a lot of money to back those kind of movements. So you poise it during a presidential campaign because everybody's going out to vote. So you're going to get the biggest voter base, and you ensure that you get the most amount of votes. Yeah, simple as that. So yeah, California, 2016. Keep an eye out. You can watch our activism tag or the legalize space it tag. If you want to check out any legalization measures, or the California tag. But honestly, that is like slewed with like weed from Coral Reefer and like other people from California. Yeah. Alright, that's it for the news. Man, that took a bit longer than normal. That was a lot of news to parse through. I feel like I repeated some too. Fuck it, man. Yeah. News in the office. Been working hard. Or hardly working. I whipped out a Hempwick logo, recently. I'd been working on the design for a little while, and I've been having a hard time with that design. I just could not think of, something that wasn't trite. With Hempwicks, there's just, everything's been done. Like, everything, honeycomb, bees, like, anything you can think of hemp and beeswax related, has been done. So I was like, what can I do that isn't as trite and still looks good and fits within the WeedPornDaily aesthetic? And, I think I landed something. I think I got something. You can check out the progress on the WPD space news tag. And, that's where I post like all the updates. But basically it's like a little flame, like shape, and I put a honeycomb, design in it. Initially I had like a 3-tone honeycomb thing going on, and it was too much depth, so I reduced it to 2 layers, 2-tone. And, I found a much better font, to work with, and, yeah, I just gotta tweak the design a little bit, and it'll be ready for like printing and stuff. So it'll be nice. Hopefully I can start printing them and putting them on the Wix when I ship them out. And, more importantly, hopefully I can start providing to, distributors and head shops. I've been holding back on that, cause I wanted to kind of professionalize, I guess if that's a word, the whole operation, and a branding was one of the most important elements. And now that that's finally accomplished, I can really move forward with that kind of stuff. But that's just business shit. I'm sure you guys are like, whatever. But if you guys want to buy a hemp wick, what's up? Cheapest hemp wicks out there, man. 400 feet for $20. Like, someone, I was going through the asks, like, archive, and I noticed, a while ago, when I advertised the hemp wicks, someone actually came out and they were like, I just bought one yesterday, or I would buy yours, and I spent $25 on 250 feet. I was like, damn, that's what I used to pay. I used to go down to my head shop and I would drop $25 or $30 for like a fucking tiny little ball of hemp wick that would burn out really quickly. So I got tired of that, and now we have cheap wicks. So for what was it, 400 feet for $20, and we have 150 feet for $10. So she could have basically doubled her wick more. Well, no, like a little less than double, for less than the price that she paid, buying our wicks. And that's $20 shipped, yo. Yeah. WeedPornDaily.com/headshop for that. Yeah. So yeah, the fucking hemp wick thing is going really well. We've been getting lots of purchases, consistent purchases, which blows me away. Like, I've essentially gotten at least one purchase every single day. Like, I've missed, like, maybe 3 or 4 days, since we first started. But, it's been nuts. It's been crazy. I expected to get, like, maybe 1 or 2 purchases, within, like, the first month. And that was it, you know, like, but it's turned into a literal, like, business. It's nuts. Yeah, that's it for that. There's not much to say. If you guys are waiting for your orders this week, I gotta resupply, myself with raw materials. I just got some wax in the mail, which was nice. My first order was actually, like, undeliverable, which means that basically I didn't get shit, and my money is in, like, limbo for, like 6 weeks to, like, longer. So I had to reorder it and wait, and that took a while. And now I actually have to buy, resupply on hemp twine again, cause I got some heavy orders. I was surprised. I got, a couple 400 feeders. So that'll be coming soon. I should be shipping them out, Saturday. That is my goal. Any later, and I will be very upset with myself. Excuse me. That's it. Some clicks. Seriously, love you guys though for supporting that. That's some fucking crazy shit. I'm glad they're working out. I keep getting people sending me reviews and, you know, asks saying, you know, like, I just got it. It's really nice. It compares, you know, really well to name brands. And, you know, just people sending me pictures of them getting the product is nice. It makes it seem real. You know, me putting it in a mailbox and it disappearing and then reappearing, somewhere else in the world. So yeah. Tumblr, recently updated its design a little bit. I don't know if you guys noticed. If you guys are on the desktop version, not necessarily the app. They changed their icons. They made the sidebar fonts bolder. They made the search bar, like, the background more prominent. I don't know, they made some changes. And, I recently updated the, I don't know if you guys know, but we actually have a Tumblr theme. Using the browser extension Stylize, if you have Chrome or Firefox, you can install a theme for Tumblr, and it literally just puts, like, a big picture of weed in the background, and it makes everything black, like black themed. It's much easier on the eyes. It's really good if you browse Tumblr at night, or if you're just really fucking stoned and you don't want, like, bright colors at you. Or like that blue, and you just want to see, like, crystalline nugs in the background and chill colors, or black. If you're just interested in a black theme, Tumblr looks really nice in black. I made a Tumblr theme. I made it like a year or 2 ago, and I've steadily updated it as Tumblr updates. And I recently updated it again, and this one I actually fixed it. Where if you would install it before, if you weren't careful, it would actually put the weed stuff on every website. So it wasn't just on Tumblr, it was like a weed theme for everything, but a bad one. And you had to actually go in the settings and, like, tweak it there, and I figured out how to export the theme with those settings. So you guys shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. So if you guys have the theme already, make sure to update it. And if you guys don't have the theme, check out our download tag. That's where I posted it. Yeah. Or you can just go to userstyles.org. That's where they post all the stylized themes. And it's called Tumblr Stoner Black, if you want to search for it. It's much easier to just go to the download tag on our blog. Yeah. Been working a lot, editing videos. I've been trying to really up the YouTube game. just like videos every single day. I basically, I think I've had a streak now for at least 2-3 weeks, which has been pretty nice. Mostly throwbacks, but you deal with what you gotta deal with. I can't post I can't be rendering like a video every day. Yeah, I've been having fun with that. I've been recording different stuff. Like, I posted a video of cannabis oil tea that I made, where I had some excess cannabis plant matter that I had soaking in coconut oil, and I took that and I mixed it in with some tea, and I made some cannabis infused tea, and it was pretty nice. Recorded that on video. Recorded the hemp wick process. I've made a few of those videos, and just like the look of it, just like the wax like dripping off of the hemp ball, it looks pretty cool. Little things like that, just some differences from just like Illadelph bong rips. Changing up like the formats too, like I got the 1080p camera running, the 720p, and then more like up close, like iPhone-esque videos, just like a range. Yeah, and trying to get those podcasts on the YouTube as well. Like, I've noticed that it's like a trend now for podcasts to post like a video version of it on the YouTube, even though there's no video. It's just like a, graphic with like the audio. It just enables people another access point for the podcast. So I thought, hey, why not? Let me start putting the podcast on our YouTube channel. The only problem with that is that rendering a video that's like an hour and 20 minutes long plus takes a huge toll on my computer. I basically have to render it overnight, and it takes basically 6 to 8 hours. And that's fucking 480p, or 360p rather. If I tried to render it at 720 or 1080, it'd take like a week. So that's why I don't post them that often or that diligently, because it's just not that feasible at the moment. But I'm trying to get those out. I try to put, if you go to the video version of the podcast, I try to put the actual news articles there, so you can read along and see maybe the image that goes along with it. And I post like images with like the ads, and maybe if I reference something, I post an image. But I'm thinking of just going straight, just audio only, because that shit it takes so long to render. It's like, why even? Yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to check out the video version, check out our YouTube. If you guys are like on the go, and I don't know, it's like more easier for you somehow to check the YouTube, just go there. It's another source for you guys. Yeah. So, I think that's it for WeedPornDaily shit. Let me check the news thing. I recently did a mock-up for the Cannabis Kickstarter, Cannabis Convention Travel Guide book Kickstarter thing. Yeah, it's so much. I haven't encapsulated it into like a tagline yet. But basically for the Cannabis Convention Travel Guide, I did a mock-up book. I don't know if I talked about it on the last podcast, but it looks sexy. It's like a 3D mock-up book with like an actual cover, utilizing the logo that I designed. And I even did some mock-up pages so you can see like what the book's gonna look like, what I was talking about when I said, high quality images, modern, coffee table / travel guide book. Yeah. The ultimate guide for any globetrotting ganja enthusiast. Yeah. I'm working on the website too, now that I've got the mock-ups and all that. The website's almost done. That'll be up We've got lighting and equipment coming in next week to film the Kickstarter video. I've still gotta run out the kinks of the actual video itself, but it's coming along, man. The Kickstarter is coming along. Make sure to keep an ear out, keep your wallets available. Next month, we're gonna be giving away t-shirts. Well, not giving away. We're gonna be, you can fund us by buying the book, obviously, either ebook or physical copy. You can buy the book with like a t-shirt. We're gonna have like different packs. So you'll have like a rollers pack where we maybe give out like a rolling tray, and it has like the WeedPornDaily design on it, and rolling papers with the WeedPornDaily logo on it, and things like that. Or just other little prizes. We'll have giant prizes like dinner with us in Colorado. Things like that. There's lots of different packages. Let me crack it open. Being all vague and shit because I don't remember everything exactly. Or not. This is not the right file. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. That is the file. This looks right. Yes. No. Yes. Oh man, guys. Oh, I'll drop that in a second. But basically, like print, obviously, of the book, signed book, wicks, stickers. We're gonna give out prints. I want to do like a big map of the world, and it shows like points of all the cannabis conventions and concerts and rallies everywhere. Products, obviously, from our store, like t-shirts, bags, iPhone cases, etc. The highest donation, I'm going to do a naked bong rip pin-up, big print, and I'll sign it for you. So that'll be nice. Just really cool stuff. We're going to try to give out sick prizes. I want to give out everybody, if possible, a copy of the Badass book. If we have stretch goals, if you guys donate enough, we want to do like a DVD compilations video series of the trip to the Cannabis Cup. Things like that. Just things like that. It's going to be a crazy, crazy thing. I really hope that you guys get into it. I hope that you guys really dig the book. That's the most important thing. I want to be able to provide you guys with an awesome book that you can take home and have not only a good source of information, but something sexy to show off to your fellow stoner friends. So yeah, make sure to keep an eye out on the Kickstarter tag for that stuff. It's gonna be blowing up. Blowing up. I'm blowing up. So Vin Diesel said when I think he got one of his first roles, he called his agent, I'm blowing up. Yeah, did that new design for the shop. Vintage-esque. Make sure to check that out. shop.weedporndaily.com. Yeah, that's about it. It's funny, I had a meditation session, the other day. I think it was in the podcast that failed, to launch. I mentioned that, get stoned and meditate. You should meditate. And then I was like, I'm preaching about meditation, and I actually haven't meditated. And, sat down and meditated, focused in a couple weeks. And, I actually did it. I sat down, I smoked a bowl, I did some yoga, to kind of get my tension out and my anxiety, and just to center myself and stuff. And afterwards I did my savasana. I laid down in corpse pose and just started practicing breathing exercises. And I quickly found that it was a huge mistake. And what was intended to be a meditation session, I relaxed my body. That's always the first step of meditation. You relax your body, and then you relax your mind, and then you can begin the meditation practice. Once you shake the physical bond, and then you release any mental anxiety and bondage, you can really begin to explore the spiritual realm and the mind itself as well, or the body, unrestrained. So I relaxed my body. I started from my head, went all the way down to my toes, relaxing each portion, and I started relaxing my mind, doing a certain practice where you imagine, you just imagine stuff that makes you happy, makes you feel comfortable. You can imagine like your dream home. You can imagine like your dream scenario. I tend to just go crazy. I don't really give a fuck. I'm like, today I want to be Superman. And I'll imagine myself as Superman and I'll save the day. And I'll like fly around and just feel the wind and just feel awesome and be Superman. Or today I'm Iceman. It's not always superheroes. But it's mostly superheroes. So I'll meditate like that. And, I noticed that, during that practice, I started losing it. I started really drifting. Where there would be this portion of me, practicing it and getting lost and whatever and having fun. And then I would, see myself just drifting into this almost cloud. And, it just became heavier and heavier until I just didn't even notice myself mostly in the cloud. And I had to like snap out of the cloud and be like, hey, you're in a cloud, and then snap back in the cloud and experience the cloud with that perspective. It was like crazy. So I had that moment, and I basically was in the cloud, and I said to myself, you're gonna fall asleep, brother. Like, it's going down. Like, you signed a contract, and it was to fall asleep. So, either you get into your bed right now, or you're gonna fall asleep on your fucking yoga mat on the concrete floor. So I got up, I laid down, and I fucking conked out for like an hour or two. And, that meditation. I mean, some people might call that a successful meditation session. Miss WeedPornDaily, said that it was successful. Just cause she likes to see me sleep. She knows I have insomnia problems and all that. But, I was looking to explore, man. I was really, because of the cannabis, I was experiencing almost like, astral projection-esque, experiences where, you feel like you're contained in your body. And you have that moment of just a new sensation, and you're like, is this it? Is this the bubble, and can I breach it? And, it was something that I really wanted to experiment with, but the cloud just overcame me, and I just lost everything. Yeah. It's something that I want to really get to in the coming weeks, with my practice of mindfulness. Excuse me. I want to, practice more focus. More, I harp on the ability to multitask. Because I'm like a computer guy. I have to constantly, be doing multiple things at a time. I can't, do one thing at a time because it's less efficient that way. And, when I leave the computer world and I have to do more menial tasks or just other tasks, and I try to apply that same mindset, it tends to not work out as efficiently. So I have to begin to practice again my focus, my single-mindedness. Yeah. It's something you really have to remind yourself in life. You can never practice one thing. It's a matter of being flexible. It's a matter of being water, being fluid, being flexible. That was basically the best way I could put it. If you can't bend, you'll break. And life has been teaching me that very, very slowly and very painfully. I've tooted myself as a kind of jack of all trades, and I'm kind of glad that it's an inherent part of my nature, something that I've embraced, because it's definitely a useful ability in this life. We've moved away from this compartmentalization of, or rather, job specialization. We don't have, like a smither. We don't have a glass worker. We don't have this. We don't have that. I mean, we kind of do, but there's so many people, and there's such a broad availability, and the market's so open, and things are so much feasible, so much more, literally we have international access. I could ship something from fucking Japan to Ireland to the US to like fucking Mexico. Like, that didn't happen like 100 years ago. Not easily. Where was I going with that? Oh fuck, I was like, man, you're doing it, man. You're doing it, and then boom, pothole. I think that's the lesson for this podcast. You really gotta watch your train. Focus. Don't multitask. I was multitasking. I was telling that story, and I started going off on another branch. And I came back to the branch, and I was like, alright, let me finish this branch. And I was like, wait, I don't remember before this branch, and yeah. It's a little late, too. I love you guys. I love that you guys listen to this podcast. It amazes me that you guys browse the website. Honestly, like, I've been running into people, personally. Well, actually, I haven't been personally running into them. It's more of a third-person account. But I've been running into friends who run into people who know me through the website. And it's a surreal experience. My friends will tell me, if I refer to you as Oscar to this person, they won't know who I'm talking about. But if I say Mr. WeedPornDaily, they'll know immediately who I'm talking about. Or they'll be in a group of people and they'll mention, my friend runs WeedPornDaily. And they'll freak out and they'll be like, your friend? You know the guy that runs WeedPornDaily? What? And I hear this and I'm like, what? I'm not what? Yeah, I am the guy. It's nothing special, man. I'm just a guy. Just a guy who smokes weed. But yeah, I really appreciate it. It blows me away. I hope you guys never think that I have some, like, super crazy ego. I pretend like I do. Because it's fun and it's beneficial as an artist sometimes. But, I really don't have an ego. I really don't care, and I when the love hits me, I appreciate it. But, it's not something that I seek out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm twisting here. I love you guys. I love that you guys love me. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome that you guys like me. It's pretty cool, man. I'm gonna pack another bowl here, because I've been babbling a bit. This weed just smells so phenomenal. It's one of those strains that, like, I will forever remember from my first time smoking. Like, this is one of those strains, like, just local. OG, man. I'm sure I'd love to, if you guys ever want to drop it in the ass box, I'd love to hear, like, what kind of strains you guys get in the area. What kind of smells, what kind of fragrances are most common. That would be really interesting. Because, it's one of those things that I'm fascinated in. Just this kind of subculture of cannabis and how it develops underground like that, and how you'll have, this underground network of essentially biology. You have people trading clones and seeds and genetics, and developing these genetics in, like, their closets, and it's all, like, handed in between hands of people who are trusted, and it can be easily obtained because it's legal, and it's just fascinating to see it all go on and how it happens. So I'd be fascinated to see like what kind of strains are most common in like illegal areas. Like obviously in the medical states you have a huge range of strains, but in the illegal states it seems like people tend to get like the basically the same shit every time. They get like, you know, this shit, that shit, this shit, that brown shit, that fruity shit, that coffee shit, that chocolate, if they're lucky. And then, occasionally, if you get something different, it's like, hey, this is from California. You know, it's something literally imported. Yeah. So that'd be interesting, man. Really interesting. Especially in fucking, non-US places. I would be really interested in seeing, because I see it all the time, where I get asks, from people in like Brazil, people in Colombia, and they'll say, you know, I love the website, I'm just curious, all I get here is, like, the strain that's like really long and spindly and smells like this, you know, what is it called, what kind of stuff do you guys get? So it was nice to see that. It's nice to get a sense of perspective, global perspective, not ganja. I am just making word sauce here because I was packing a bowl full of weed. I hope your hash was heated. I bet the whole time I was talking, like 50% of the people were hearing me, and then like in the background, and then hearing like that nail noise, and then hearing me like slightly in the background. But yeah, cheers. Some of that, what did Miss WeedPornDaily call it? That craft store spice shit. Cheers. Cheers, dog. Word up. So tasty. Oh, so tasty. Ooh, that was a beautiful hit. If only you guys could experience that with me. Oh. Just the medley of flavors. There was like an onrush of just this like fruity muskiness. It had multiple levels to it. It just bombarded you. And then it just comes off with a kind of more subtle ness. Yeah. Good hit. Good hit. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate it. I love the purchases from the shop. We got one today. What was it? I think it was a THC shirt or a Wake Bake Bliss. One of the two. Female, large. You know who you are. Thank you. I love you. And yeah. Basically the stoner shop, shop.weedporndaily.com. Hoodies, t-shirts, iPhone cases, tote bags, all that jazz, prints. That's like my paycheck. That pays for like all the work that I do on the website, for updating the news, answering questions, actually designing the site, writing articles, designing apps and stuff like the fucking, the medical marijuana, strain database and all that. Things like that. It funds all that work that I do because I just do it for free and then I hope that I get compensated somehow later for it. And the shop is one of the ways that you guys can compensate me. And every time that I get a purchase from it, I watch the shop like a hawk. like the earnings section. And whenever I get a purchase, like I'm very mindful of it, so I always appreciate it. And actually, we have a promotion right now. Let me say that we've been running a lot of giveaways lately. We did a giveaway where you reblogged. It was on my birthday, October 1st. You reblogged with your favorite strain or tweeted, and I sent out stickers and hemp wicks. And we did another one recently where you reblogged a post, I believe, and people got hemp wicks. And there was like another giveaway earlier for stickers. We've just been doing like little flash giveaways all over the place. And my point was, what was my point? I wanted to do a giveaway on the podcast. I remember that. If you guys email me at WeedPornDaily@gmail.com with your name and mailing address and the secret word haggis, then you will get... No, I'm sorry. The secret word is not haggis. The secret word is rockstar. Rockstar is the secret word. So make sure to email WeedPornDaily@gmail.com with your name and mailing address and the secret word rockstar. And we will pick 2 lucky winners who will get a Weed Porn Daily sample wick and a Weed Porn Daily sticker by random. I know that's a lot. WeedPornDaily@gmail.com. Your name, mailing address, and the secret word rockstar. All that could be anywhere. It could be in the body. Hopefully not all in the title. Just email WeedPornDaily@gmail.com. What was the point of me bringing up the giveaway thing? You know, I almost want to like back up the tape because I hit another pothole. What was the point of that? We were doing giveaways. We've been doing a lot of giveaways lately. Fuck me, man. Whatever. At least I got that giveaway done. We were planning on doing the podcast giveaway like 2 podcasts ago when Miss Weed Porn Daily was on, but totally slipped the mind. So I'm glad I got it out. Yeah. So I'm rambling. Hope you guys entered the giveaway. I love you guys. Thank you guys for listening. If you guys made it this far, you must be super stoned. And I love you guys. That's awesome. Stay regular, super stoners.